ME Ph.D, Chief Executive of Soy Vortex Energy Solutions, who will share his knowledge and practical insights on this important subject. I'll request actually Mr. Hem Prasad, Council Member of IIF Chennai Chapter, to introduce Dr. Sivakumar to the audience, please.
Thank you, Raj. So it's my pleasure to introduce today's speaker, Dr. R. Sivakumar. Dr. R. Sivakumar is a certified energy auditor by Bureau of Energy Efficiency. He was worked as a cluster leader at Coimbatore for GEF UNIDO BE project on promoting energy efficiency and renewable energy in selected MSME clusters in India since July 2014. Presently engaged as a cluster coordinator for UNDP Devolite project on low carbon technology deployment in secondary steel units in Coimbatore and Palakkad cluster. He has 25 years of field experience in plant maintenance, projects, energy conservation, energy efficiency, training and commissioning, etc. He writes energy conservation and energy efficiency articles in many international and national conferences and workshops. He educates and trains the engineering college students and faculty members in the field of energy management and energy conservation. He serves various positions in the industries DuPont India Private Limited, Precol Limited, MMG India Private Limited, and Coimbatore Institute of Engineering Technology. He has completed 70 detailed project reports prepared and submitted, 200 energy efficiency projects implemented throughout the project, around 30 lakhs kilowatts hours saved per annum, around 40 workshops organized and trained nearly 1,200 members in the cluster, around 60 detailed energy audits completed in foundries, manufacturing, textile, paper, tea, food, engineering industries, and education institutions like PhD group of institutions. He is having memberships in associated member in the Institute of Engineers, Institution of Engineers, Kolkata. He is a life member in Society of Energy Engineers and Managers, and the membership with ISTA. Sir, now the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Sir, I am audible, sir?
Yes, sir. Audible, sir.
Yeah, okay. Hello? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Just interrupted, sir. So good afternoon, everyone. So first of all, I would like to thank IIF Chennai chapter for giving me this opportunity to present this topic under decarbonization in foundries through various MSME financing scheme. First of all, I thank Mr. P. Sendil Kumar, Chairman, and Mr. R.S. Kumar, Vice Chairman, and Mr. Rajmohan Adiyalagan, Honorary Secretary of IIF Chennai chapter, and Mr. Siddharth Anbuselvan, Honorary Treasurer, for giving this opportunity. So today's topic is decarbonization. So just I share the details. So it's a full screen, sir. Now it is visible as a full screen. Hello?
Sir, actually, still it is not a this presentation mode. You have to turn on the presentation mode.
Now it's okay, sir.
Now it's okay, sir. Now it's okay.
Okay, sir. So today agenda is what is the need of energy conservation, energy efficiency in foundries. Just a few slides only have some energy efficiency in foundries. Then what is the importance of carbon footprint in the industries, and some schemes called Aditi scheme, CCTS scheme, SIDBI schemes, and P scheme. It is a state government owned by Tamil Nadu. So these are the various schemes I will explain. So first one is energy conservation. So as per the energy conservation law, we know everyone. So it states energy neither can be created nor destroyed. It can be transferred from one form to another. For this example, if the light bulb is burning, So it needs some electricity. It produces both light as well as energy. So the overall energy consumption, whatever 40 watts or 50 watts, that will be converted into some level of lumens light output and some amount of heat calories, heat values in terms of kilocalories. So actually this heat value is quite lost in the bulb. So this is the law. So whatever the input energy is equally splitted into light as well as heat. So the same phenomena is applied for all the kind of energy sources. So we need to reduce the losses wherever it is associated. That is our biggest task. So this is the law of energy conservation. So sector-wise energy consumption, normally in India, the overall energy consumption, nearly now it is a 4,60,000 megawatt is the installed capacity. Whereas in 2002, the installed energy capacity in India is only 1,49,000 megawatt. Now in 2025, we come across around 4,60,000 megawatt. Within this 20 to 23 years period, we are almost 300% our energy sector is growth. See, if any country, if it is growing or GDP is increasing, ultimately the energy sector is also parallelly grow. Otherwise, there is a no growth. So it is a very direct indicator. If any country is developing and GDP rating is increasing, keep on, then the energy sector is also parallelly increasing. So like India, like a wise country, we are having only limited energy sources. We are depending on all the energy sources imported from the other neighboring countries only. So we are in the overall energy consumption. Now the carbon emission, CO2 emitter, the first polluter in global is China. Second is the USA. Third is India. Maybe by 2030, India will beat USA and we will become second position. Then China will be number one, so two will be India, third will be USA. So the faster rate growth rating is happening in mainly for China and America also, India also. So the sector-wise energy consumption in the graph, the industry consumption is around 49%. The transportation takes 22%, residential is 10%, agriculture is 5%, remaining energy consumption is 14%. Actually, our Honorable Prime Minister was give the commitment to the Conference of Parties. In 2030, we are committed whatever the energy consumption, it should be came with 50% from renewable, that is a green energy. Now the installed capacity is 4,60,000 megawatt. We are expecting by 2030, nearly 6 to 6.5 lakh megawatt is the installed capacity in India. So during that time, 50% of the energy sources will be came through solar, wind, tidal, this kind of green energy. By 2070, India committed net zero. That means in the year 2070, whatever the energy we consume, that will be gained from the green energy. Similarly, every country was committed. So it is a very, very tough task. Why this are all happening? Because of everybody was emitting lot of CO2 to the atmosphere. So due to this, the climate change action is totally collapsed and the earth temperature is also getting hotter. So if it is increasing by 1.6 to 2 degree, most of the due to this climate change action, already we are experiencing the last 10 years. You've seen in the last 1 week, not only 1 week, within a month, there are some cloud burst happening is happen. So the monsoon rains are not properly happen. So everything was happened. So for example, the rain pattern is also altered. So all the things are happened due to this climatic change action. Because of this climate change, the one of the main reason is CO2 emission is also main culprit. So CO2 emission is happening because of this fossil fuels. Fossil fuel is oil, coal, firewood, this kind of LPG, this kind of fuels is called as the fossil fuels because it is depleted with time. So over a period, it will not available. So exhaustively available only renewable only like solar, wind and tidal. These are the renewable energy available. So everyone was concentrated for the more renewable and less fossil. So the ultimate aim is wherever it is possible to reduce the fossil fuel consumption. That is the main motive. So the difference between energy conservation and energy efficiency. So far I'm audible, sir. It's okay. Hello.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Yes,
sir.
audible, sir. Audible,
Yeah.
sir.
Okay, sir. So energy management is the process of monitoring, controlling, and conserving energy in a building or factory or organization. So there are two terminologies are there: energy conservation and energy efficiency. In both the things, we save some energy. The difference is in energy conservation, our behavior that results in the use of less energy. For example, in a room, some 20 lights are there. Yeah, there are some meeting is there. Instead of 20 lamps burning, we can able to burn only 5 to 6 lamps is sufficient to conduct the meeting. So remaining 14 lamps can be switched off so that some energy can be saved. This is the kind of activities happen in all the industries, no? So it will be considered as a energy conservation. Whereas energy efficiency, out of this all 20 lights, we are not discomfort. We are comfortably operating the meeting with the 20 lights. With the instead of the old light can be replaced with the energy efficient lamps, so that your overall energy consumption is also reduced. Same time, your lighting output, lumen output is also maintained parallelly. So it will be energy efficiency. So using the technology that requires less energy to perform the same function is called energy efficiency. For example, in your company, there are old motors are there. Normally in foundry, we are using more than 20 years, 30 years, old motors, some 5 to 6 times rewinded motors are still we are operated. Those kind of motors can be replaced with the latest IE3, IE4 motor. So you can save a lot of energy. This is the terminology called energy efficiency. So energy conservation and energy efficiency, in both the term, we can save some energy. The difference is in energy conservation, we are our comfort level will be this thing altered, whereas in energy efficiency, our comfort level is maintained. So simple example, in older day, we are using this incandescent bulb. One incandescent bulb, 60 watts means it emits 65 grams per hour CO2 emission. Now then the terminology, the next technology came CFL, compact fluorescent lamp. So it needs only 15 watts. Now it is a very advanced in CFL is also superseded. Nowadays, everybody we are using only light emitting diode, LED lamps only. So the same 60 watts replaced with the CFL 15 watts. Now LED can be replaced with only 10 watts. Even 8 to 10 watts is sufficient. So that CO2 emission factor is very reduced. So energy efficiency equipment uses very less energy for the same output, and also it reduces the CO2 emissions. So what are the benefits for this energy efficiency? As an industry, individual industry, your overall energy bill cost will be reduced. Due to this bill reduction, you will increase the competitiveness and increase the productivity, quality and the profit level is increased. As a nation, well, everybody was reducing the energy. So the overall country will import the energy, will less imports will happen. So this excess cost, importing cost can be used for the poverty reduction programs and the conservation of limited resources and the security, energy security. Important thing is improved energy security, because in the India, like our countries, only we have only 10 to 12% of the energy resources are available. Remaining almost 90% of the energies we will be imported from the neighboring countries. And due to this, what is the advantage for the global is also to reduce the greenhouse gas emissions also reduced, so that your maintainable environment is also reduced. So your earth temperature is also maintained, so it is not increasing. So climate change action is also reduced. So the second topic is energy efficiency in foundries. So normally in any foundry, it's a basic thumb rule. For melting, it consumes 70%. Molding and the core preparation 10%, sand preparation 5%, lighting, compressor, miscellaneous. And the foundry to foundry it is varied. Maybe some industries melting share is around 65 or 68, maybe 73 or 75. It will be varied, but ideally 70% of the energy will consume in melting area alone. So if any 1 or 2% energy saving in the melting, so that we can save lot of energy. And parallelly in auxiliary loads is also lot of potential is also there. So first we will consider in the melting. In modern induction furnace at the rate of 1450 degree, almost it uses 600 units of electricity, but practically it is varied from 500 to 800 units per tons of liquid metal based on the grade of casting. It is practically, it is happen in the normal foundries. So some of the best practices in induction furnaces are to prepare the right mix of raw material, charging of stock, melting and pouring of mold. So these are the some of the things are identified, do's and do nots. Always the size of the charging material to be 1/3 of the furnace crucible size. It was always instructed by the furnace manufacturer like inductotherm or electrotherm. Your chargeable material length and breadth will be 1/3 of the furnace crucible size, and do not superheat the metal. And operate the furnace at full power and full capacity. Go for maximum compaction of material while charging, and don't hold the material in the full material in the furnace. It consumes power without increasing production. Keep the cycle time as short as possible by proper housekeeping. Do not uncover the furnace unnecessarily. Maintaining minimum holding periods for melt. Separate holding furnace can sometimes may be useful. Avoid long tapping time and frequency. And preheat the ladle for energy saving also. Well insulated ladles are also necessary. Avoid long charging time and frequency. See, normally, practically, when we are doing so many number of energy audits conducted, energy study in Foundry, we noticed the first thing is the more holding times only it takes more power. Ideally, for any furnace manufacturer like inductotherm, majority of the furnace will be inductotherm. The inductotherm, as per the OEM recommendation, one furnace, one melting cycle to be completed within 45 minutes to 50 minutes means it should be completed. But practically, it will end up with 70 minutes or 80 minutes. And also, the pouring time is also takes more time. And the metal tapping time is also takes around 15 to 20 minutes. So during that time, we are kept the furnace power as 150 kilowatt to 200 kilowatt. And many of the times we noticed the box molding line is not ready. The metal is made ready in the furnace, but it keep in the folding mode, and we kept the power minimum power 100 to 150 kilowatt. For the bigger furnace, we kept 200 kilowatt. So these are the energy consumption area. These are the main reasons for increasing the power, because the theoretical energy requirement for melting one tonnage of metal at the rate of 1400 degree, it needs only 395 units only. It is a theoretical, but practically we end up with more than 600 units only. Even 600 is also some best foundries only achievable, but practically we end up with 700 to 800 units only. So the holding time, and the second thing is raw material charging pattern. Nowadays we are using more this one CI borings are also used, so that definitely it consumes some higher power only. But whatever may be within the available raw material availability in the market, so the raw material charging sequence is also somewhere doing some best operating practices. Such a way we have to reduce the melt campaign time, that overall melting time to be reduced, so that every melt, if you are stick on as per the OEM recommendation, we can save lot of energy. These are the main thing. And nowadays it's a more energy efficient IGBT, insulated gate bipolar transistor type. Instead of thyristor, IGBT furnaces are available. Straightly, they told nearly 30 to 40 units per tonnage of energy was saved for adapting the old furnace with the IGBT furnaces. So some of the case study in melting. So during the analysis with the existing practices, the charged material is almost 1120 kg. The liquid metal output is 1095 kg. Poured metal is 960. The slag generation is 41. So the specific energy consumption is 631. The overall energy consumption is 691. For the poured metal, 720 units per ton. So by adopting some best practices in the same foundry, it will happen. See, the earlier, the average melt duration is 96. Now it is only 76 only. Liquid metal is also increasing from 1095 to 1122. Poured metal is also almost 1 ton. So the power drawn is 691 in the previous practices, best operating practices 690. The overall specific energy consumption you see, it will be 631 in the earlier one. Now it is 615. So nearly 16 units per ton was saved. For the poured metal, it will be 30 units. So the second thing is, out of this melting area, the motor is mostly used in all the industries. So normally motor efficiency is classified, whatever the input power, the output power. No, normally the old motors, EFF1 standard is there. Still many of the foundries we are using the old efficiency motor only. Now it is come with IE1. IE means international efficiency. IE1, IE2, IE3, IE4. Even though IE1 is also not in the market, IE2, IE3, IE4. Now IE5 is also in the market. So these are the various losses associated with the motor efficiency: iron loss, core loss, stator loss, rotor resistance, windage, stay loss. So almost 7.6% to 10% losses will be happen. Only somewhere 89 to 90% only it will give the output. So during the procurement of a motor, we have to consider, because this whole pie chart you see, suppose the motor is running for 10 years, the overall cost, the energy cost itself nearly 97.3. Somewhere it is above 95% is the energy cost. Purchasing cost only 3 to 4%, and other maintenance cost will be 1 or 2%. So that whenever we consider, suppose the particular motor is running for more than 20 hours in a day, so we can consider for the energy efficient motor. If some application, if the motor is running for hardly 1 hour or 2 hours in a day, you can go with the lower efficiency motor. So the management will think so that whatever the investment and the energy saving and the payback, ultimately, what is the investment and the payback? This is the management concept. So people and management will think about during the procurement of motor. So based on the life cycle cost, we can consider for adapting the energy efficiency motors. So it is a case study. So one motor is delivered. This is a pump application. It delivered 23.7 kilowatt in the existing motor, but the motor efficiency is 90%. The input is 47.2 kilowatt. So the motor is delivered in the shaft 42.5. Again, the pump efficiency is only 55. So the hydraulic power delivered in the pump output is 23.37. The same motor is replaced with 95% efficiency. Now you see, the motor output is same. Pump output is also, hydraulic power is also same. But whereas the input energy, instead of 47.2, it consumes only 44.7 only. So that nearly 2.5 units was saved here. So this is a simple calculation by energy saving by replacing with the energy efficient motor. This is the formula. KW output into 1 divided by old efficiency minus of 1 divided by new efficiency. For this simple example, 150 HP, that is a 37 kilowatt motor, is replaced with 92% IE2 energy efficiency motor. The old efficiency is 87%. Consider the motor is running for 6,000 hours in a year. So the investment cost is 1.5 lakh. And the payback period for operating electricity cost is 9 rupees per unit. So by replacing the existing motor with the new motor, we can save almost 2.294 units per hour. If the motor is running for 6,000 hours, means 13,764 units can be saved in a year. That is the equivalent cost is 1.24 lakhs. The payback period is investment is 1.5. Energy saving is 1.238. So payback period is 1.21 years, so nearly 14.5 months. So that is a 15 months. So this is one of the case study implemented in Coimbatore, one of the leading foundry. This is a coil cooling pump used in the furnace cooling system. The existing pump is replaced with grand force pump with the energy efficient. So the old pump is 25 HP. The new pump is 20 HP with more header and flow rate. So existing is 90%. New pump is motor efficiency is 91.9. Pump efficiency 68. New pump is 76.6. The current drawn by the motor is 26 amps. The new pump is drawn only 19 amps. The overall energy consumption is earlier is 16.2, now it is 11.6 only. So almost 4.95 units can be saved in an hour. So this payback is only 5 months only, this pump. So the next energy intensive area in the foundry is air compressor. See, this is the Sankey diagram representation. So in the bottom line, there is a blue layer is there. Actually, whatever the input power is given, energy is given, that will be transferred only 10 to 15% of the energy will be converted as a useful air. Remaining everything was wasted through generation, treatment, distribution, moisture, and the heat loss kind of thing. All the energy, almost 85% of the energy, input energy will be wasted. Only 10 to 15% of the actual energy will be converted into pneumatic air, that the rate of 7 bar or 8 bar pressure. So the air compressor is very, very expensive, and up to 20 to 30% energy saving possibles is there by adapting some maintenance measure and air leakages. Mostly air leakages is the very, very important aspects for the energy saving measures in air compressor. So it should be routine practices. Every alternate months or every month you do the air leakage test and arrest all the air leakages, because it consumes more energy. And the frequent FAD is called as a free air delivery. It can be increased up to 12% by proper maintenance, cleaning the inlet and outlet air filters also. And also placing the air compressor is also very important. So some of the practices is set optimum pressure. 1 bar reduction will give whatever the capacity of the compressor, whether it's a 50 HP or 100 HP or 200 HP. The optimum pressure band will be very, very important. So the 1 bar reduction gives straight away 6 to 8% of the energy saving. So during unloading condition, motor consumes almost 35 to 40% of the energy consumption. Normally, in unloading condition, there is no air output from the air compressor. The motor will eat the energy. So only loading condition only the compressor will deliver the air. So we have to conscious reduce the unloading time. Wherever it is possible, VFD can be adapted. If the more unloading is there, so that we can adapt the VFD for the reducing the unloading power. So and also you have to maintain the air compressor location is also very, very important. So 4-degree reduction will give 1% of power saving. Nowadays, there is more conscious was there within the foundry and all the industry. So the exhaust air of the compressor also, they have some ducting arrangement. So the whatever the hot air generated from the exhaust, it will be taken away from the room area, so that the input filter area, the input air will be less, so that every 4-degree reduction in the intake air, we reduce 1% of the power saving. These are all the thumb rule in the air compressor. And clean the air filters at regular interval, and replace the oil filters also at regular interval. Avoid cleaning with the compressed air and use portable blowers for cleaning purpose. So these are some of the case studies. So we are doing in the one of the pump industry. So we are noticed the loading point is 8.5 bar and the compressor is unloaded at 9.5 bar. We suggested, because there is no need of 8.5 or 9.5 bar within the industry. They need only hardly 7.5 bar only. So that we are reducing the set point pressure band from 7 to 8 bar. Previously it consumed, because of this, you see the clamp meter reading. The earlier it takes 21.6 amps. This is the 11 kilowatt 15 HP screw compressor. The same compressor, now the new pressure band, maximum 8 bar setting, 18.6 only it takes. 3 amps the current consumption will be reduced. Due to this company is operating for only 12 hours only. So 13 units was saved in a day. So almost 4,050 units was saved. And the cost is during that time only 7.5 to 8 rupees only. 30,000 rupees they can save. The investment is almost nil. Nothing is there. Only we are optimizing the pressure so that this much energy can be saved. Similarly, in the other industry, same thing. The loading and unloading pressure band, we noticed 10 to 10 bar, 8 to 10 bar. The same thing was reduced to 7 to 8 bar. The chart will show the power quality analyzer report. Earlier, it takes 13.31. Now it takes only 10.56. So in a day, 30 units saved. In a year, 9,360 units and 65,520 rupees was saved. Investment is nil. So it's another classic example. One of the foundry is having 100 HP, 75 kilowatt. So during the notice, we have noticed that the unloading timings are more than 35%. Only 65% was the compressor was loaded. Same thing was adapted with one VFD. So the previous consumption per day, 1,530 units without VFD. With the VFD, 1,170 units. Nearly 360 units was saved. This is one of the case study we taken in one of the foundry during the energy audit. You see in foundry non-operating time, we check with one Sunday. So one particular compressor 22 kilowatt is fully loaded for because of meet the air leakage. There are various points the leakages was noticed. Almost some 12 major areas we identified. You see the picture. The 22 kilowatt is continuously loading with the 16.74 units was consumed and the 4.1 bar was the output. So these are the some of the photographs taken during the air leakages points. So now there is a thermal mass flow sensor type and IoT, Internet of Things monitoring system is also available. So this is also practically possible to see your compressor performance. Most of the foundries, they are installed more than 5 years means they can go with the IoT system so that they can able to monitor the present compressor performance because the manufacturer told 250 CFM or 300 CFM, whatever may be. What is the actual CFM produced by the compressor? What is the energy, pressure? Everything can be monitored. Based on that, the management can be decided go with the new compressor, even though the wastage leakage quantity is also quantified with this IoT system. So it is a very helpful tool. Definitely by adapting this kind of IoT-based monitoring system, minimum 10 to 15% energy savings can be achieved in the compressor alone. So third topic is carbon footprint. So far it's okay now, sir. The flow is okay, sir. Hello.
Yes,
Sir,
okay.
everything is okay.
Okay, sir.
Everything
Okay,
is okay,
fine,
sir.
sir.
Okay, sir. So the third topic is important is carbon footprint. So nowadays, everybody was asking about what is the carbon emission happen within this premises, your foundry or thing. And for the India was initiated for steel manufacturer, green steel certification is necessary from 2026 onwards. So whatever the steel production from the unit, that should be go with the green steel certification, like our appliances, refrigerator, TV and other appliances, they have AC, air conditioner, they have a B star labeling is there, 5-star, 4-star, 3-star. What is the difference? 5-star means it consumes less energy. 3-star means it will consume a little bit higher. Similarly, for steel also, star rating is adapted. 5-star, 3-star, and 4-star is adapted. Later part we can see. So every industry was consuming energy in terms of electricity, diesel, LPG. In some industry, food processing, paper, and pharma industries, they use boiler for producing the steam. For boiler is also using fossil fuels like firewood, coal, oil, furnace oil. Lot of fossil fuels we are using. So whatever the total energy, it is calculated in terms of carbon emissions. Now everybody was adjusting with the neutralizing project like solar and windmill and some rooftop solar arrangements are there. Many of the industries in foundries, even in Coimbatore, almost 80%, minimum 50 to 80% of the total consumption by electricity, it will be offsetted through solar and wind energy. So the carbon footprint is now the government is also doing some mandatory work for all the industries. They have to indicate the carbon emission, tons of CO2 emission per tonnage of product. For example, in foundry, we are producing the final casting. Okay. So producing 1 tonnage of casting, what is the carbon equivalent to be declared? In very soon, it will be coming. Okay. So how it will be calculated? We can see. So I think some of the industries are heard about the carbon footprint ISO 140646566 standard and ESG norms, that is environmental social governance. All these things, sustainable practices, everything, this area will be covered. So the carbon footprint will be calculated under this scope 1, scope 2, scope 3. What is the scope 1? It is the direct emissions by combustion of fossil fuels and including company vehicles, diesel, petrol. This to be considered as a scope 1. Normally, we purchase the electricity from the distribution companies like Tangetco or Bescom, the state electricity board only we are purchasing the electricity. So this kind of energy will be comes under scope 2. Here, the steam is also mentioned as a scope 2. But if you have an in-house boiler, for the boiler operation, if we are using fossil fuel means that will be covers under scope 1. Okay. So whatever the indirect emissions from the process, that is called scope 2. Direct emissions is scope 1. Scope 3 is a very, very tedious project because all the raw material, processed product, the inward, outward, waste management, even some official trips for how many employees are available, how they are coming by their own vehicle or company provider vehicle, everything to be calculated. So scope 3 is also included. So scope 1, scope 2, scope 3, all these activities, it should be converted into, in the top layer, you see some value, CO2, SF6, CH4. CO2 is the major pollutant, carbon dioxide. SF6 is the sulfur hexafluoride. CH4 is the methane. N2O is the nitrous oxide. NF3 is the nitrogen trifluoride. HFC and PFC is also fluorocarbons, hydrofluorocarbon, perfluorocarbon. So for example, simple, if you are considered for the electricity, we are drawing some 1 lakh unit per month from the electricity board. If you are for the 1 lakh unit, we have to equate the CO2 equivalent for CO2 SF6 6H4. But normally for the electricity, only CO2 and 1 or 2 activities only coming. In the same case, if you are using refrigerant also, they comes under HFC, PFC. So there are some lot of classification is there. So if you go through the standard, you can know. But normally we taken the main thing is CO2 emission. CO2 equal is the main thing. So what is the impact factor? Because the previous one, CO2, SF6, most of the HT breakers we are used in the foundries and industry, the breaker is using SF6. That is a sulfur hexafluoride thing was used because the global warming potential, the greenhouse gases was listed. If you are emitting the CO2 emission, CO2 means it is sustainable sustained in the atmosphere for the 1 year. That is the equivalent value is 1. Similarly, for methane, for 1 kg of methane, if you are emitted to the atmosphere, it is equivalent to 28 tons of CO2 equivalent. That is compared with the base is CO2. The methane is 28 times higher than the CO2. And similarly for HFC is 138 times. And SF6 is the very, very highest one, 23,500. In later part, if we are arriving the carbon footprint of the industry, so these are all the classification based on that, they are arrived the scope 1, scope 2, scope 3. So we are taken one of the small industry in Chennai. It is a chemical-based manufacturing company. We arrived the product carbon footprint. PCF is the carbon footprint. So the 63% of the overall carbon emission is coming from fossil fuels, 16% from the electricity purchased, and business operated trips is almost 1% only. Fleet vehicles, staff vehicles also 11%, and including stationery and courier is also considered. This is also 3%. So out of this, scope 1 emission is 62%, scope 2 is 16%, scope 3 is 22%. So similarly, we have to derive, for example, in our foundry fraternity, we can call it as how many tons we are produced, how many tons of CO2 equivalent we are emitted. So based on that, we have to declare 1 tonnage of casting, how many tons of CO2 equivalent we are emitted to the atmosphere. This is the carbon footprint of the foundry. So the green steel. So under the green steel taxonomy, our Union Ministry of Steel was launched towards the net zero emission. Already I told no that for towards the net zero emission, the first sector identified in India for the steel industry. So the whatever the emission was emitted, it should be classified. Actually, this notification was given from under Ministry of Steel by 12th December. So the value is for producing 1 tonnage of steel, it should be below 2.2 tons of carbon dioxide equivalent per tonnage of finished steel. That is a tons of finished steel. Okay. The star rating system, earlier I told no, for the appliances, how they are declared 5-star, 4-star, 3-star. Similarly, for steel also they declared 5-star green rated steel, 4-star and 3-star. 5-star means the overall emission factor, CO2 emission will be 1.6 tons of carbon equivalent for producing 1 tons of finished steel. For 4-star, it will be 1.6 to 2 tons and 3-star 2 to 2.2. So steel with an emission intensity higher than 2.2 tons shall not be eligible for a green rating steel. So almost now all the major steel players, manufacturers like Agni Steels, AIRS, Tulsian, everyone was going with the green steel certifications. So this is the criteria. So what is the benefit of the industry? So the government was insisting green steel rating. So the recent amendment given by the government for any government related project, the steel procurement to be 1% from 5-star green rated steel. 4-star is almost 4%. 3-star will be 21%. That means 26% of the total procurement steel should be under green steel rated. So this is the mandatory given by the recently the amendment was passed by the government. For any government project, nearly 26% of the steel procurement to be through green steel rated steel to be procured. So carbon footprint, scope of emissions covered scope 1, scope 2 and scope 3. So scope 3 emissions will be considered for all the downstream and upstream mining, transportation, everything to be considered. So the nodal agencies for steel is NISST, National Institute of Secondary Steel Technology, available in the Punjab, Madhya Govinda. So they will be the responsible nodal agency for certifying this green steel. So once the measurement, reporting and verification, all the things to be done along with NISST and the Bureau of Energy Efficiency combinedly doing this, this on star rated steel. So now we comes under the various schemes proposed by the government and as well as state government schemes for how to decarbonize. The first scheme is Adidi, assistance for deploying energy efficiency technologies in industrial establishments. The establishment, that is the short form Adidi. This is the scheme brochure. Actually, it is proposed by the government. The Ministry of Power was proposed, and the nodal agencies, Bureau of Energy Efficiency. Initially, they go with 14 different manufacturing sector in India. Almost 60 clusters are formed. So under this cluster, manufacturing out of 14 manufacturing, Foundry is also one of the category. 5 or 6 clusters was formed under this Adidi. So this is the main part. 5% of the interest subvention for the micro and the small enterprises and 3% interest subvention for the medium enterprises. That means, for example, in a foundry, they are having a very old furnace, 15 to 20 years old, if they replace with the IGBT furnace. So definitely there are a lot of energy saving opportunities there. If they are replacing with the energy efficient furnace, if they invested nearly 2 crore for the new furnace, they are getting bankable loan from the respected bank. That is under the RBI guidelines bank they approach and they get the loan. So 2 crore they taken as a bank loan for implementing this project. So they are register under this Adidi scheme. No, if the industries comes under micro or small, they got the 5% of the interest given by the they paid to the respective bank. For example, 2 crore is getting from the bank at the rate of 10% rate of interest. Okay. For 1 crore, they need to pay 10% of rate of interest, means every year they need to pay 10 lakhs as a interest. For 2 crore, they need to pay 20 lakhs as the interest for per year. For 3 years means they need to pay 60 lakhs as a only interest rate. So under this Aditi scheme, for micro and small industries, the 10% payment will be borne by 5%. That means almost 5 lakhs per crore will be given for the bankable loan project. Directly it was dispersed to the respective loan account number. So that for micro and small, 5% interest subvention is there. If the industries fall under medium category, that is medium industries means 3% interest subvention is there. So for doing this, we need to prepare a detailed project report, and there are some empaneled energy auditing firms are empaneled under this scheme. My company is also, I am empaneled. I am doing a lot of industries in Coimbatore also. So first we prepare a detailed project report. That project report will be verified and reviewed by the committee established by the Bureau of Energy Efficiency. Once the committee is give the clearance, okay, this project is okay. But the main thing is ultimately we have to prove due to this project implementation, some 10% of the energy savings to be achieved in the particular area. That is the main motive. Okay, so after the DPR, the committee will scrutinize and they will give the clearance whether the project is sanctioned or not under the Aditi scheme. Then the unit can be get the bank loan and implement the technology. Once the implementation is completed, maybe 3 to 4 months period, the measurement, reporting and the verification to be done by the same auditing firm. Once the MNV completed, once the 10% is the energy savings and other things are achieved, the interest rate will be dispersed to the respective unit. All the documentation works to be completed through the online web portal only. There is a Aditi portal was created by the Bureau of Energy Efficiency. So it is a very transparent mechanism. So every industries will be participated under the Aditi. They have uploaded all the related documents to the Aditi portal in help with the accredited some empaneled energy auditing firm. So the 5% reimbursement is there. For doing the detailed energy audit and the preparation of the auditors, they pay up to 1 lakh. For a micro and small, 75,000 eligible for reimburse for the energy auditing team. That is a empaneled energy auditing team. For medium scale, 1 lakh is there. So the subsidy part will be released every 6 months once it was released to the respective bank. So the benefits of the scheme is to reduce the energy efficiency, enhancing the productivity, and the ROI is very quick. So what are the benefits? The technical support, complete expert support from the BE empaneled auditors for accurate energy assessments, access to advanced technology, adapt of cutting edge in energy efficient technology, latest efficiencies, simplified loan process, easy access to loans with minimal documentation. So any RBI guidelines bank, whether it's a private bank, is also eligible. Now they appointed one nodal bank called UCO Bank. The nodal bank is the UCO Bank. The UCO Bank will be dispersed the subsidy to the respective bank through that financial institution called nodal bank only. The environmental benefits of this Aditi scheme is to reduce the carbon footprint to achieve the net zero goals by India commitment by 2070. So how can apply? Eligible MSSD must be Udayam registration number. It is a very, very important. So as per your Udayam registration number, your company categories, whether micro, small or medium, based on that only they have work. So almost 14 energy intensive sectors are selected: brass, bricks, ceramics, food processing, forging, foundry, glass, refractory, even textile is also there. So the loan eligible amount is minimum 10 lakhs and the maximum is 15 crore. And 15 crore are up to 75% of the project cost. So up to 15 crore, they can eligible for the interest subvention. And must achieve at least 10% energy saving is the eligible criteria. So this is the process. You have to apply the Aditi portal. So the DPR and this one, empaneled energy auditor will create a DPR. It will be evaluated by the respective team and loan sanctioned through the financial institutions and start implementation. And also the measurement verification is completed. Then the interest subvention subsidy to the respective MSME industries will be given. So the outlay for the first phase nearly 1,000 crores was allocated for this particular project. The duration is 3 years, that is up to 28-29 financial years. They start with the first phase. Actually, last 2 months before, the director from BEs came to Coimbatore and visited some foundry associations also. During the time, he told the initial first phase only 60 clusters under 14 manufacturing sectors we formed. Very soon, within 1 or 2 years period, the clusters will be increased from 60 to 100. So the budgetary outlay is almost 1,000 crores was given, and out of this 1,000 crores, 875 crores for interest subvention and 50 crore for the support of investment grade energy audit and other thing, and 75 crore handholding support for various program capacity building and awareness program kind of things they allotted. So based on this 1,000 crore given from the government of body, Ministry of Power, they expected 9,000 crore will be invested, and 6,070 crore of prospective lending from MSMEs. That means 6,070 crores can be getting the loan from the various banking. This is the tentative plan by the scheme. So these are the listed clusters. So under the foundry, you see in Batala, Jalandhar, Ludhiana, Howrah, Rajkot, Belgaum, and the Coimbatore is also one of the clusters. So out of this foundry clusters are eligible to apply this Aditi scheme. So this is the chart, whatever the things already I explained. So based on that, the scheme will work. So this is the expression of interest form. It should be submitted through from the respective industry via the empaneled certified auditors, the empaneled energy auditing firm. So once they provide this expression of interest to joining in the Aditi scheme, then the baseline assessment will be done. After that, they collected some invoices, purchase order, and other things. They make a DPR. The DPR to be submitted to the respective committee. The committee will review the DPR and they give the clearance whether they sanctioned or not. Based on that, the unit can be implement the technology, get the bank loan, and then finally, after the verification, they will disperse the loan interest amount on the 6 months period to the directly to the loan account. So the minimum eligibility is 10 lakhs to 15 crore. That is the biggest thing. So in Coimbatore, one of the foundry, Vasanthi Foundry, the chairman, actually this project was officially launched last month, July 15th in Panipat. This person is Ministry of Power Minister, Manohar Lal sir. So the Sivaprakash from the Vasanthi Foundry in Coimbatore, they got the official letter for Aditi participation. This was happened on 15th July at Panipat. So this is the appreciation letter given from the Ministry of Power and Bureau of Energy Efficiency for participating the Aditi scheme. So the next scheme is called the CCDS, that is a carbon credit trading scheme. So carbon credit trading scheme is also one of the other schemes run by Bureau of Energy Efficiency. Actually, India was doing in the last 15 years for energy savings and carbon emission reduction. There are a lot of programs was run for the various industry. First, they introduced one scheme called Perform, Achieve and Trade. That is a PAT scheme. Whoever they're using more energy, they are called it as a bulk consumer. They segregated nearly, as on date, 13 sectors was identified to produce the designated consumers. For example, simple example, still foundry is not covered under this category. Our railways, distribution companies, that is electricity boards and iron and steel, then pharma industries, even textile is also there. For example, if any textile industry consumes more than 1 lakh unit per day, automatically they cover under PAT scheme. So they have to conduct a detailed energy audit. Then they have to set a target of reducing 4 to 7% of the energy from the existing consumption. Based on that, they have given some that should be mandatory. So 4 to 7% or minimum 4% of the energy should be reduced. Otherwise, they have to penalized. Okay. So this is the scheme called PAT scheme. Now the PAT scheme is slowly it is converted as a CCTS. That is a carbon credit trading scheme. And whoever falling the threshold limit for aluminium 7,500 tons of oil equivalent, textile is the 3,000 TOE. So each industry they have a target. Almost 13 industry they targeted. All the 13 sector industries they have a threshold. So once the threshold is crossed or this is exceeded, then automatically that industry will covered under the PAT scheme. Now the CCDS scheme is also same thing is applicable for the 9 sectors, as well as the voluntary enrollment is also available. For example, many foundries are doing well and they are saving lot of energy. So they are also voluntarily enroll the CCDS scheme. So whatever the energy savings they achieved, they can sell it as in the international market. So the additional monetary benefit is also there. Same time, they got some carbon credit certificate is also there. So this is the CCCS means carbon credit certificate. CCCS is under the CCTS. This was notified in the year 2022. Now it was implemented in the faster manner. Okay, so even the foundry sector is also eligible, and that is the scheme is not a mandatory, but it is a voluntary. If voluntarily they have to enter, and whatever the saving achieved, they can trade. So this is the scheme regulatory framework and other things. So you can go through the CCTS scheme available in the website. You can go through. So these are the sectors identify: iron and steel, cement, pulp and paper, petrochemical, textile. Every industry they're having some threshold. If the threshold is exceeding by the particular company, automatically they cover under this CCTS scheme. Even it is a mandatory for this 9 industry. Okay, 9 sectors. So even textile foundry is also included as a voluntary. So the greenhouse gas emission intensity should be tons of CO2 equivalent per tonnage of production. Okay. Here they are mainly concentrated on scope 1 and scope 2 only. So the greenhouse gas emissions also covered if the process is there, combustion is there, then CO2 is there. So this is the mechanism how they awarded. For example, one particular industry produced 10,000 tons of product, and the emission factor is baseline is 2.5 tons of CO2 equivalent per tonnage of product. They give a target of 2.2. If the plant is achieved 2, that means out of 2.2, if the company is achieved 2, that 2.2 tons of CO2 equivalent into 10,000 ton, that means 2,000 carbon credit certificate they earned. Okay, if the industry was exceeding the target limit, so whatever the difference achieved, they can sell it to the international market. That is a carbon credit certificate. So they are getting some monetary benefit. Suppose in the case 2, if the industry is not meet out, okay, if it is exceeding 2.4, so they have to penalize. So the industry will be purchased from the who is achieving the industry. No, those industry they can purchasing the CCC, that is a carbon credit certificate. So they are losing. So whoever doing best they can sell. So who is not performing they have to buy. This is the system mechanism. So this is the procedure: establishing greenhouse gas emissions intensity, trajectory and targets, monitoring, reporting, verification, issuance, trading, and the compliance assessment. So some other schemes available in the SIDBI bank. So these are the schemes available in the SIDBI bank. End-to-end energy efficiency, that is called as a 4E, green finance scheme, Express Green Power for Sustainability, MSME gift, that is a green investment and financing for transformation. So 4E, so up to 7.45 crore is given for the MSME industry. For all this industry, the MSME certification will be there. So those whose fall under the MSME, they are only eligible. So the maximum repayment period will be 5 years to 7 years. Case to case, it is varied. So the interest rate is 7.5 to 8.6. So all kind of energy efficiency, solar rooftop, ground mounted PV projects can be considered. So the MSMEs may be service sector, educational institution, hospital is also they are eligible. So other scheme is called the Express Green Power Sustainability. It is used up to this criteria is also similar to 4E scheme only. So eligible for 5 lakhs to 100 lakhs. So the borrower can be sanctioned assistance multiple times in a finance area subject to a cap of 200 lakh. So the promoter contribution is nothing, nil. So maximum repayment period is 5 years. So what are the projects is covered? The capex required, capital expenditure required for transit from diesel or petrol is a fossil fuel to cleaner fuel like PNG and compressed natural gas. So in their operational process, for example, boiler, furnace, genset, etc., rooftop solar, and other any green and clean initiative taken by the industry, ultimately to reduce the carbon emission waste management. Those kind of projects can be eligible under this Express Green Power for Sustainability. And the green financing scheme. So green financing scheme, 20 crore for MSME and the service provider aggregator is 50 crore. So minimum 20% of the project cost will be given by the promoter. Maximum repayment is 10 years and the interest rate is also 8.35 to 10%. So RESCO is Renewable Energy Servicing Company. ESCO is an energy saving company. Energy saving company means suppose one company want to implement some project, they need not to invest all the amount. The ESCO company will do all the investment and everything. So based on the energy saving between the mutual agreement between the industry and the ESCO model, there are some models are there. Based on that, they will give the repayment. For example, you have a space, your company have a space, but you don't have money. So the ESCO model is companies comes under the ESCO model. They put their own solar plant in your plant. They generate some 1 lakh unit per month. So the 1 lakh unit generation will be taken care by the ESCO model. This amount sharing will be maybe, for example, 6 rupees they charge per unit of generation. So the whatever the energy generation from the solar, they charge 6 rupees to the industry. It is an example only I told. So this is the ESCO model. For the ESCO model project, the industry need not to pay anything. The ESCO model company will pay. They give the attractive cost. We pay in Tamil Nadu almost 7.5 rupees is the base cost, including peak hour and the night hour. It comes around 10 rupees. No, instead of 7.5 rupees, we can get 5.5 rupees or 6 rupees from the ESCO model solar project. So based on the agreement, they have to sustain and continue. Whatever the energy generation from the ESCO model, they can sell to the particular industry. Normally, it is operating for 10 or 15 years based on the agreement period. This is called ESCO. Now it is available for even bigger chiller kind of thing, boilers, and almost many energy efficiency projects. The ESCO model companies also available in the market. So the various activities covered under green finance scheme is energy efficiency, renewable energy, cleaner production, resource efficiency, circular economy, water management, carbon capture and storage, environment protection, green building. These are all the things covered. And another thing is gift. There is another benefit is 2% subvention can be released annually to the particular project. The maximum quantum of assistance is 2 crore. Eligible repayment is 5 years. Energy efficiency, solar, rooftop, and ground mounted PV projects also consider this scheme. So eligible borrowers should be produced the Udayam registered micro small industries in manufacturing sector, not so the eligible borrowers should produce the Udayam certification. So the last scheme is P scheme, promotion of energy audit and the conservation of energy. So this was run by government of Tamil Nadu. The scheme was run in the last, I think, 10 years. It was there in the Tamil Nadu. So any MSME industry, they can avail this opportunity for doing. First, they have to conduct an energy audit. For energy audit, up to 75% of the cost or maximum 1 lakh rupees is eligible to reimburse through the scheme. And during this, once the energy audit is completed, the energy auditor may give some 10 or 12, 15 recommendations for reduce the energy. The industry, those implementing this some of the recommendations and save some 5% minimum energy savings is achieved, then the unit is eligible for getting the grant of up to 10 lakh or maximum 10 lakh or 50% of the capital investment of the particular energy efficiency project they can avail. So these are the two benefit. One is they got 75% of the energy audit cost or maximum 1 lakh can be eligible for doing energy audit. And the energy audit implementation project is also for capital expenditure investment. 10 lakhs is the maximum or 50% of the investment cost can be reimbursed. That is eligible for from the industry, from the this scheme that is released through District Industry Center. So this is the attractive scheme run in the last 10 years in Tamil Nadu. So we are doing most of the, so far I done nearly some 35 to 40 units under this P scheme. So these are the benefit achieved. These are the industry, Best Engineering Pumps and Private Limited. They got 45,000 rupees. Gauri Metal 75,000, Karthik Paper 67,500, and VR Foundry 75,000, Koso Foundry 67,500. See the VMC Steel, Perundure, Indosel Cast, Santi Castings, they are getting 1 lakh subsidy maximum. For the post implementations also, these are the industries supplied, they got the subsidy. Ranback Castings, Indosel, Sri Krishna Technocast, Sundaram Fibers, and Best Engineering Pumps Private Limited. So these are some of the appreciation letter we received under this P scheme through some routes, Best Engineers routes. Okay, these are the various schemes available in the both in the state as well as central. So if you have any questions, you can ask.
Any questions to Sivakumar sir? Sir, if no questions, actually, I'd like to conclude the session with a vote of thanks. First and foremost, actually, a heartfelt thanks actually to Dr. Sivakumar, Chief Executive of Sai Vortex Energy Solutions, for sharing his valuable insights. Your presentation has given us a clear perspective on sustainable practices and financial avenues available for MSME to adopt decarbonization measures. We sincerely thank all our members, participants from the Foundry fraternity for joining us today. Your participation makes these sessions truly meaningful. With that, actually, we conclude today's session. We look forward to your continued support and participations in future programs. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Sivakumar sir. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.